Hey guys, Coop here with another episode of Seduce Me The Otome, and I just wanted to start a new route. We will be skipping what we have seen in the previous episodes, and since the question that I had, like one of the questions that I had was Suzu's past, I think I'm gonna go on Suzu right now. So let's begin. New game. Skip. My name is Micah, or Mika, yes. So everything happens. If you don't know what happens here, it's just you can just watch my initial playthrough of this game, and we're gonna always favor Suzu in this playthrough.
Dragon Company it is.
Thank you.
Now that we've decided on a name,
now what? We go get lunch. I wish I was as fast as they're getting out of here. Nami folded her arms close to her chest, giving me a disappointed look.
Oh, not you too. She's turning you into a delinquent.
Okay, we didn't hear this one. Okay. It's a joke, Naomi. It's not really.
Well, it's not really funny.
Shut up.
Man, you guys are slow. Are you
We're
coming
coming.
or what?
Let's skip. Boom. Yep. I'm gonna eat spicy today. Might as well go Yep. Might as well go spicy today. And we're done. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Our granddad is dead. My dad's angry. Our granddad is awesome. Our dad fucking whips her in the face. Suzu's right, Naomi. This is obviously we're gonna be favoring her.
Of course you would side with her.
We have done this before, so let's keep on skipping. Okay. I'm gonna leave it alone since I don't think it matters. The boys, they do the kisses. Hit him again.
How? You're just being violent now.
Yep, you deserved it. Anyway, if you try to pull any funny business in the future, just a fair warning, I don't take one though. Okay. So we've seen this before. Let's skipperino. Okay, we get kissed. Always be like against relations with these guys, so that you're guaranteed to get the Suzu route, I think. Let's jump and protect ourselves and keep skipping, because we've done this before. Hello, hi, hi, hello. You can have it. I've said this before.
What?
It's fine. Now we're gonna skip James. No. It's fine. Maybe another time.
Very well. Here's your seat then.
He's still nice.
Let
I
me
like
get
it.
your chair for you, lovely lady.
Shut up. Smack him in the face.
No.
We've done this before. Let's skip. Our memory. So then, because these two favor these guys, this favors James, this favors Eric, so then hold on, did he just get a point with Damien? Okay, you know what? Okay, I looked back at Damien, who had been silent the whole time. This is the dinner quarrel scene. He was leaning against the far wall, moving his lips almost silently to the empty space beside him. Out of curiosity, I looked the same way, though I found nothing there.
It's nothing.
Yeah. Huh? I looked back to see Damien looking at me with his normal blank face. I couldn't help but stare back, feeling the red tint of embarrassment spreading across my face. As I stared, Damien gave a very small smile and closed his eyes, returning to his thoughts. Eventually, we all ate dinner together. I hiccuped. Oops. Let's skip. Guys are here. Argument. Oh, they're here. They're Wizards,
Then
yeah.
why did one of them open the door?
I said it doesn't matter probably, so let's keep going. I'll go out with Suzu and Naomi.
Are you sure?
Yep. I'm sure. I trust these guys to be able to work everything out.
Thank you for trusting us, miss.
You're welcome, James.
We'll have everything done for you by the time you return home.
Thank you.
Alright, we'll wait here while you go get your things.
Alright. I was strangely relieved to know that everything was going to be okay while I was gone from the house. I trusted the guys enough to do everything they could for this house party, so my mind focused itself on hanging out with my friends. Eventually, I was out the door, walking towards Naomi's car with Naomi and Suzu. Suzu grabbed the entire back seat as I took the passenger side. Naomi started the car and drove off towards the city. It was nice driving out with my friends. After all that had happened, it was good just to go out and forget my troubles.
Well, since we got you out of the house, we might as well go to the mall and walk around a bit. We did just eat breakfast after all.
That's possible. Yeah, that was a good meal though.
Could have had more flavor in my opinion.
Yeah, you like everything spicy.
Suzu, you eat chili peppers when you're bored.
Yeah.
Everything you eat always needs...
Yeah. You need to teach me, Suzu.
You just need to eat spicy
I
food
saw
all
it.
the time.
Yeah.
You gotta tame your mouth.
Yeah.
Tame your mouth? Really, Suzu?
That's right, actually. Sounds difficult.
Anyways, after the mall, what do you want to do? We could go to the Pink Lady Cafe and chill out with Kay. I'm sure she'd love the company.
Also, Kay is at Pink Lady Cafe. And she's another female person that we don't know.
But we have to stop by the arcade. They have this new game out called Orion. You get to control this guy named Isaku, and you're part of the rebel forces, and you get to shoot things, and there's
robots.
and...
Sheesh, we get it, Suzu, we get it. We'll go to the arcade.
Which one first, though? You know how popular Kay is. She'll be swamped with customers later in the day.
I'd rather go in the late afternoon. She has better options during the last hour of the cafe.
So basically after the arcade?
You figured me out so
Yep.
quickly, Patterson.
Yep.
What did I tell you about using my last name?
Well, let's go to the arcade. Hey, this looks nice. So we headed to the mall and walked around for a good amount of time before we driving out to Moonfall Arcade. As weird as the name sounded, the arcade was one of the best arcades in the city. Kids and teenagers lined the games, watching the players at the consoles as they anxiously waited to have their turn.
Oh, there it is!
Alright. Suzu grabbed Naomi and me by the hand before dragging us to the section of the arcade where a bunch of kids had gathered in awe and excitement. In the middle of the crowd was a large game with 2 joysticks, platforms, and a screen that flashed the name Orion every other second. Let's save here. I'm gonna save in this empty slot. Okay. Let's keep going. In the background of the screen, a holographic playfield glimmered before us, revealing a neo-futuristic battlefield and an enemy robot charging right at the camera.
This is the game you were excited about?
I mean, yeah, it looks really cool.
That's right! And I'm gonna play it so hard I'll beat the game in one shot.
Hopefully. Suzu smirked and looked at me, hoping that I would join her as I usually did for partner games. I looked at Naomi, who merely rolled her eyes, crossed her arms, and gave me the okay nod. I grinned before nodding to Suzu, who cheered in joy.
Woohoo! Alright, let's do this.
Let's go, girl. It took us a good half hour before we were able to step up to the platforms. The point of the game was to beat the government and restore freedom to the general public. Okay. We played as rebels and robots, and the game quickly became a smash and bash game versus multiple enemy robots. Playing with Suzu was always an adventure. We both knew that our strengths and weaknesses were. We knew what our strengths and weaknesses were, so it was easy to collaborate with each other. It wasn't long before we got into the swing of the game and were beating enemies like crazy. By the time we got to the boss, we were unstoppable. It was so refreshing to beat the boss and put out our 3-letter code into the names into the high score list.
And that is how you game. We are unstoppable, Anderson.
Yeah, girl. Suzu gave me a large smile, which made me smile back. I was happy to be able to hang out and have fun with my friends like this. I felt free from worries or responsibilities. It was something I loved. We eventually lost track of time and wound up staying longer than we expected, making us unable to stop at the cafe before going home to dress for the housewarming party. So we drove back. Naomi and Suzu picked up clothes and other necessities from their houses before driving back to the mansion. The hour of the house party had arrived. In my mind, I kept double and triple checking the essentials for the party. Knowing my dad, he invited his business partners and executives. Oh, we actually just read this before, so I am ready. I had to be confident in my skills. Yep.
I'm so sorry about your grandfather passing away. It really hit all of us hard.
Accept the condolences. Let's go.
Do you have college plans?
I do.
What do you think will happen with the company now that your grandfather has passed?
That depends on who runs it.
What do you think of the philanthropic policy?
It's a policy that
Do you
reflects
think
my
the
values.
company should expand from just toys?
It's possible. Yeah, those are the right answers, by the way, I think.
Honey, I'd like
So
to
I
introduce
failed
you to
something
someone.
there, but I'm gonna skip still. Simply not to him, because we're avoiding other romance options. My mother smiled at both of us, which made me slightly concerned. Hold on. Andrew was slightly taken aback, but gently smiled and lowered his hand with a nod in return. Great. So, skip. Thoughts.
I apologize if I made you uncomfortable in some way.
Andrew then chuckled nervously, bringing a soft voice to... Okay. Stay put. I watched as he disappeared into the crowd. Yeah, we saw this before. Okay, shoot boys. Fuck off. Max suddenly laughed wildly, staring at me in disbelief.
Whoa! Who let the bitch out of her cage? What is this? A reverse harem or something?
Yeah, it pretty much looks like it, I know. So we haven't heard this part before. This is good. Malix grinned at me evilly, walking close to me. But...
Back off, Malix!
Oops.
A
quick one.
I
Yeah,
like
we dodged
you
him, yeah.
More and more.
Back off, Malix!
Don't start acting tough, you pathetic excuse of a demon. You need more protection than her.
Shut up!
Oh, did I make little Matthew cry?
Oh boy.
Why don't you just grow a pair?
Enough, Malix.
Oh, that's my chick. The woman, who had been standing in silence the whole time, planted a firm hand on Malix's shoulder. Malix looked back at her with a growl and a glare that could kill.
Since when did you get the guts to speak out of place?
We both know you've never controlled me. I want them dead just like you do. But now's not the time.
Fuck off! I know what I'm doing.
Hey.
Do you? Even if you did fight them, there's 5 against 2. We never win.
This is intense.
Shut up!
Let's go, Malix! We're wasting our time!
Oh, they're having an argument. My favorite. The two growled at each other. If they could have used their magic, I could sense that. Okay, we read this. Skipperino. Boom. Let's make some coffee. Why not? I decided making coffee was my best bet in surviving the rest of the day. Why not? Haven't had coffee in forever. Hold on. I won't finish my popcorn, but I can't because I'm recording. I got out of bed and made my way to the kitchen, unconcerned that I was in pajama pants and a tank top. I rummaged through the cabinets for a coffee machine and any makings for coffee. Surely my grandfather had some. A French press? Well, it's better than nothing. As I began to make my coffee, I checked my email and text on my phone. No new important emails, no text messages. I sighed. I quickly made my coffee, just how I liked it, and sat on the counter. But then, I began to wonder. Would this happen every day? I let the question linger in my mind. For a whole morning, I did not think once about the boys or Malix. Everything was peaceful. Everything was average. Nothing magical or dangerous or unusual. Thoughts. I simply drank my coffee as I let the thought marinate in the back of my mind. I returned to bed. Skipperino, don't disturb them. Skipperino. Let's make the rice again. Chicken rice. Let's Skipperino. Go to my room and eat. And then, Skipperino, we're gonna go to the arcade. I arrived at the arcade, ready to spend some cash on some fun games. I didn't want to be stuck at home on a Sunday. Besides, the arcade always had something new to play, no matter how often you came. I began to wander the aisles of machines, scanning over them to find good game to play. I had played a lot of these games with Suzu, so it was just a matter of finding a good one. What finally caught my attention was a crowd of people surrounding a group of machines. I got closer and peeked through the crowd to see Suzu sitting in a racing game versus two other players who were on the same machine behind Suzu's. From the looks of it, Suzu was losing, and that was causing her angered face.
You're going down!
That's a jerk, okay.
Kiss my Italian ass!
There you go, that's my girl. I stifled a giggle, watching Suzu remain playful under stress. She was adorable but feisty, truly a spicy Italian. I observed as Suzu finally caught up to her opponents and passed them with ease.
What the?
That's the dumbass.
Hurry it up!
Later, losers!
Hey, the crowd began to cheer, watching Suzu beat out the guys and slide into first place. As lights and sounds began to blare in celebration, the two jerks left the machine in a huff and Suzu stood up.
Good game, everyone.
GG! Slowly the crowd began to disperse, leaving me standing to applaud for Suzu alone. Suzu smiled as she finally saw me walking over to me.
Hey, what brings you here?
I didn't want to be stuck at home, so I came here. I need to have some fun after yesterday.
Yeah, man, I get you. Yesterday was full of tightwad business guys, and me and Naomi were pretty uncomfortable too.
Really? I'm really sorry about that. Suzu laughed and waved her hand in dismissal of it. She then leaned against the racing game and put her hands in her pockets.
So what do you plan on doing here?
Let's play a game together.
Oh, really? What game do you think you could beat me at?
I think we can do some major damage and beat our high scores in robot extermination. Suzu grinned from ear to ear, nodding before taking my hand and heading over to the machine in question. It was cute to see Suzu like this. She was always the adventurous type, and I loved that side of her beyond anything. I guess that's what kept our friendship strong for so long. Eventually, we did reach a large machine, covered with images of robots disguised as animal mascots, and blood. We took up our plastic guns and swiped our game cards across the credit slots, giving our credits to the game to play.
You take left, I take right?
As usual, let's go! The game quickly started up and we blasted our way through the hordes of robots, landing more headshots than professional shooter tournament players. Suzu and I had played this game so often, it pretty much had become our go-to high score game. We always kept the top 5 spots on our leaderboard for ourselves. As we finished the first level though, we were stunned to see the new leaderboard at the loading screen.
Someone took number 1?
Oh no. Oh hell no, yeah, exactly.
You maxed that level, right?
Mm-hmm. Suzu looked at me with a very familiar deadly look in her eyes. She was determined to regain number 1. So was I. I knew what this meant. No deaths, quick reloads, and consistent headshots and Easter egg points. The whole experience itself ran 2 hours straight, with the main game and its sequel programmed into the machine. Once you finished one, you immediately began the next until you reached the end of the second game. At least it had some cutscenes to take breaks between. It'll be tough, but we got this. Suzu nodded before putting her game card in the breast pocket of her jacket and readying herself for the next level. I braced myself for a long game.
Hey Anderson, let's make this a little more fun. Whoever has the least amount of headshots has to treat the other to lunch.
Great. It's almost 2 PM, Suzu.
There's such a thing as late lunch.
Alright, you're on. That's a good machine voice. And we were off. Virtual bullets began to fly across the screen, slamming into the heads of multiple robots and causing them to fall to the floor and die out. One by one, Suzu and I burned through the game like our lives depended on it. We eventually had a crowd from behind us, cheering us on and offering us food so that we wouldn't have to leave the machine. That is awesome. That is real gamer cooperation right there. Most of them were guys who liked the girl on gun action. Oh my. But some of them were actually excited bystanders, hoping that we would take back our high score. We snacked a bit, taking breaks between cutscenes and level changes, but we remained true to our goal. Eventually, we made it to the final boss, a giant black bear robot with red eyes and deadly attacks.
Let's go, Anderson!
Right behind you! The crowd behind us began to cheer as we began our final battle. Our legs were a little wobbly, but we were too into the game to care. All we cared about was the large red bar at the top of the screen slowly emptying with each bullet we fired into the boss's body. We only had a few shots left when someone called out.
You girls suck!
Without missing a shot, Suzu and I replied at once.
You wish we did!
You wish we did! Before landing the final blow to our opponent, the death cutscene flashed and played on screen, the scream of Robot Bear booming through the speakers. Suzu and I weren't excited just yet. We were waiting for the high score screen to appear. It was the final high score screen of the entire game, so it was the most important screen in our eyes. Come on, come on! Nice! The screen popped up, revealing our code, SCA, as the #1 score in the game, knocking down our mysterious MAL opponent to second place. The crowd behind us went ballistic as Suzu and I hugged each other tightly in joy. It was like stepping over a major milestone, despite it only being an arcade game. We did it! Wahoo! That's Mario. The second stat screen came up, separating Suzu and I from our hug of delight. In matters of accuracy, I was better. However, Suzu had more kills than headshots, making her the winner of our little bets.
Booyah! Free lunch!
Nice. Alright. Where to, boss?
I just want some drive-thru food. I've been eating way too many home-cooked meals, man. I need at least one unhealthy meal.
Alright. Suzu's family was indeed an Italian family, but they were very self-conscious about their food. They were quite possibly the healthiest family I knew. Suzu and I left the arcade, occasionally stopping to be given praise or be asked a question about our gaming skills. We eventually headed out to the parking lot where a decently used J motorcycle sat with chains around its wheels. Suzu quickly took off the chains and took a seat on the bike, getting out 2 helmets, placing one on her own head and ushering me to sit behind her. I followed her gesture and made myself comfortable on the leather seat behind her, putting on one of the helmets and wrapping my arms around her waist. I had ridden with her on her motorcycle before, so this was nothing new to us. Suzu revved the engine and quickly sped out of the lot, driving into the streets towards the fast food joint.
Paradise Parlor sound good? I'd love some Paradise Nuggets and cheese fries.
Yeah, sounds good. We went through the drive-thru and ordered meals for ourselves before heading to my home. Suzu parked in front, watching me dismount from her bike.
Thanks for late lunch.
It might as well be dinner now. Suzu and I left. It was funny how time flew by. Want to stick around and eat together?
Oh, nah man, I gotta head back home and watch Francesca while my folks meet up with some bigwigs from the casino.
Oh, okay. See you in school
Thanks,
then.
though. See ya!
Bye. I waved at Suzu as she quickly headed out of the gates and back home. I smiled as I watched her go before heading back inside. Suzu stuck around in my mind for a little longer than I expected, but I couldn't help but smile. The remainder of the night passed by surprisingly uneventful. The boys continued to train with each other. Okay. Skipperino. Oh yeah, we're gonna fucking attack this chick. Here we go. Get her. I'd had enough. I felt adrenaline rush through my body as I pounced off the ground and rushed at Lizette. I was not gonna be the only one with scrapes this time. I tackled Lizette to the ground, swiping and slapping her innocent face. She screamed in fright before trying to push me off and block my attack.
Holy shit! Anderson! Stop it!
I wasn't listening anymore. I let my carnal need to get revenge take over as I began to pull Lizette's hair to get better aim at her face with my free hand. I'd had enough of the bullying, the wounds, the insults. All of that was going burn in the past as I scraped my nails and hand across Lizette's face over and over. My rebellion would be marked on her pretty face for all to see. Lizette pushed me off and scrambled to her feet, both panicked and angry at the same time. Her emotion was nowhere close to the anger I was feeling.
Are you crazy? What the hell?
I stood up very slowly, glaring daggers into Lizette's soul through her eyes. I must have had some sort of monster behind me. Or maybe I looked like the monster myself. But the gaggle of girls, Lizette, and even my friends, had a look of pure terror on their faces. I've had enough of you, Lizette. You obviously won't stop unless I fight back. Well, guess what? You're gonna get it. I charged up Lizette a second time, showing her back against the lockers. She let out a yelp of pain as she smacked the back of her head against the metal behind her before glaring and showing me back. As I stumbled back, Lizette raised her hands ready to fight.
Then come on, Anderson. Show me what you've got. I bet it's not much.
I felt myself snarl in anger before raising my own fists, remembering my taekwondo. I quickly snapped onto one leg and raised the leg to get a swift kick at her head, but she blocked it with her arm and stepped towards me to take a jab at me. She had training, not surprising. I didn't care at that moment. I bent back away from the incoming jab, re-establishing my balance as I placed both feet on the floor. Lizette threw jab upon jab at me, forcing me to block my torso and face with my arms and hands. Hit for hit, Lizette and I exchanged and defended blows at each other. It was indeed more than just a catfight, it was a vengeful duel. In my mind, all I saw was Lizette. All I wanted to do was make her stop, and if that meant beating her down, I had to be done. We eventually gained a small crowd of people, all silently observing the fight. My anger intensified and my hits became harder with each second that passed between us. I couldn't let her win. I wouldn't let her win. None of the zest girls dared to step in, apparently afraid to after seeing our skills in individual fighting styles. Suzu was held back by Naomi's arm, despite both of them wanting to help me. They didn't wait long for it to end though. Suddenly, Lizette was pulled back away from me and I was pushed against the lockers by a strong force. Lizette hit the lockers as well on the opposite end of the hallway, letting out a girly grunt of pain. I looked up to see my art teacher, Mrs. Gordon, holding me against the lockers with a look of surprise and serious concern in her face.
What are you doing?
It's the fight, baby. I looked to see Lizette behind, being held back by Miss Phillips, starting to cry innocently. I knew what was going to come out of her mouth, so I tried to push Miss Gordon out to comfort her. Miss Gordon, however, kept an arm wrapped around me, keeping me back. No, don't you dare start crying, Lizette. You started this.
Miss Anderson, get a hold of yourself!
No, what is wrong with you? What did I ever do to you? I couldn't stop the angry tears running down my face as I shouted across the hallway. Lizette and Miss Phillips stared in shock at my screams as Miss Gordon tightened her hold on me. I am so sick of it. Leave me alone. Eventually, I lost my energy and began to weigh down on Miss Gordon's arms, letting my sadness take hold and quench my anger with tears and swelling pain. I could feel Miss Gordon hug me to her to keep me upright as Lizette sniffled and confided with Miss Phillips.
I didn't do anything to her!
She
just attacked me all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's a lie, Lisette. You tripped her on purpose. You've always been a snobby prick to us. Never! I gave my condolences about her grandfather's death!
You didn't even sound sincere. We know you were only pretending to be nice to spite us.
Enough! Miss White, follow me to the dean's office.
Lizette followed, wiping her tears in the feigned innocence she knew how to play up. I remained still in Miss Gordon's arms, unable to bring myself to fight to get at Lisette again. I had done my damage. The gaggle of Lisette wannabes would make sure I became infamous around the school. I didn't care. I made my statement on Lisette's face and body, and I wasn't afraid to do it again. Miss Gordon, however, wasn't done with me.
Come with me, sweetie.
I nodded and followed. My friends frowned as they watched me leave, but they headed to class without me. Miss Gordon led me to an empty classroom, which she had claimed as hers. It looked like all the other classrooms, but art posters lined with walls. Many students loved the room, but hated one thing, the mirror in the very back of the room. It was one thing that Miss Gordon loved to use against her students. With it, she was able to see who was using their phones and who was actually studying. Miss Gordon led me to the back of the room and sat me down in front of it.
What do you see?
Huh?
Tell me what you see.
I looked at the mirror and saw myself. My clothes were a little ruffled for the fight, but beyond that, I just saw me. Nothing about me seemed different than normal. I see myself.
Alright. What else?
What else? I don't
Do
understand.
you know what I see? I see a brilliant woman who's been working her butt off to try and find herself. She just has a little bit of adversity in her way.
What does this have to do with what happened with Lisette?
Listen, don't think about Lisette right now. She's just another student who doesn't know what you're going through.
Oh, okay. I stared at myself in the mirror, unable to tear my eyes away. She was right, but I still lingered on what happened with Lisette. I know Miss Gordon was only trying to help, but I couldn't fight the thoughts in my head. Miss Gordon gently rubbed my shoulders, snapping me from my thoughts. I looked up to see her smile down at me through the mirror.
You know, those were some pretty interesting moves.
Oh, she's a fighter.
Taekwondo.
Yeah.
You'll have to show me one day.
I laughed as she hugged me
Look,
gently.
Don't let Lisette get to you, okay? You have your own battles to face, and you can face them just fine. Instead of fighting Lisette, focus on your goals.
No, wreck her. I looked up at her and nodded slightly. It was a cliche to hear, but she was telling the truth. I needed to focus on myself first. She gave me a small packet of tissues and told me that she would handle Lisette. The fear about my family learning of this had quickly appeared and had vanished when she promised to keep me out of this as much as she could.
Everything will be fine now. You're a good student, so I'll let you...
Okay, well, before heading to class. The rest of the skill day went without incidents. Let's go. Okay, fight. You know the fight scene. Okay, we left. They said bye. Hey Diana. But you seem very reckless. Too reckless. I moved out and stood from the bed, still glaring at Diana. Why are you here?
Well, I came here to clean up what the boys clearly forgot to clean. Men.
What do you mean by that? Okay.
The boys are gone. Am I? If you want to go see for yourself, you can. But I promise you'll be wasting your time.
I stared, trying to find any hint if she was lying. She had to be. The boys wouldn't just up and leave without racing first, right? Okay, skip. I'm just gonna give up the memories this time. My mind began to wander. Were the memories truly worth my life? I remembered the way the boys helped organize the house party and helped me home after Malk's ordeal. But then I remembered, I'm only human. I wasn't a demon. I wasn't special. The world of magic was too large for me. I already had a world to face without magic being involved. I felt a wave of sadness run through me, replaying the memories of all that had happened in the past few days one last time, before speaking up. Fine, take my memories. I couldn't keep them. They were beyond my world. They were beyond what I needed to know. I was never meant to know of them.
Glad you understand now.
The pit beast below me closed its jaws. I looked at my phone and saw a text I must have completely forgotten about. Whoa, what is this?
Dude, are you okay? Did the drive home yesterday go okay with your dad?
Oh my god, Suzu, my bae! I tried to remember, but for some reason, yesterday's events seemed blurry and almost blank. I remembered going to school, dealing with Lizette, then going home. I don't remember, however, ever being picked up by him. I must have been, or else I wouldn't be safe at home. I rubbed my head, trying to shake out exhaustion. Damn, studying. I sighed and texted back. Sorry, I forgot to text you back. Everything was fine. See you when you get here. Suzu seemed to be very tense, focused on her desk more so than usual. I was almost tempted to poke her and see what was wrong. My phone though vibrated in my pocket. Thank God I set it on vibrate before class. I pulled out my phone and checked it, seeing a text from Naomi. I began to text back, suddenly going into text conversation.
Hey, do you know what's wrong with Suzu?
Good question. I don't know.
Oh, I hope she's okay. She looks so stern.
Same here. I looked over once again at Suzu. She was intensely scribbling in her notebook, almost obsessively so. The grip on her new-looking purple pencil was almost tight enough to bend it each stroke she made with it.
Oh, by the way, did you hear?
No, what? What?
Apparently, Suzu's family is really involved with the mom.
Yes! The answers!
Suzu's dad in court this morning with a big
The answers! Yes! Really? I couldn't believe it! Was Suzu okay? I looked over once more. Something made my heart slightly skip seeing her again. I was worried, yes, but for some reason, I felt a little sad. Suzu had always sworn up and down that her family had no relations with crime lords, yet this happened. Why was this happening? I put my phone back into my pocket, ending the conversation. Hopefully Suzu would explain things to me soon. I was worried beyond belief about Suzu's position with her family. Time continued until the end of the class period in that exact status. Suzu held her hands ground, focusing on nothing but the incoherent scribbles on her paper, while Naomi and I watched on in worry, not caring for the class we were in. As the bell rang, Suzu stood up suddenly.
I gotta go. See you guys later.
No! Go after her! Suzu zipped out of the class like she was fleeing the devil himself.
What just happened?
I don't know. Chase after her. Fucking go. I needed to see what was wrong. Suzu was important to me and I needed to help her. I instantly grabbed my things and rushed out of the room.
Whoa! Where are you going? Hey!
I wasn't listening. I entered to get to Suzu. The hall was full of students, which made spotting Suzu a little harder. I wish she was just a little taller. Suzu! I began to push through the crowd, trying to find a trace of her hair, her jacket, anything. I managed to get a glimpse of her green jacket, instinctively following it down the hall into a classroom. Suzu's class was the other way. Where was she going? I continued following and peeked into the classroom, seeing no one else in there except Suzu. What shocked me was seeing Suzu standing over an empty desk, slamming her fists onto the wood. I didn't know what to do. The world behind me in the hall went into slow motion as I stared at Suzu's back. She obviously wanted to be alone, but I wanted to help her and fix whatever was bothering her. I'm gonna go help her. I couldn't leave her like this. I quietly stepped into the room and closed the door. Just hug her! Just fucking tackle her. Oh, making Suzu flinch and freeze up. Suzu? Suzu gasped before turning to me, a shocked expression on her face. Tears had painted her cheeks, which made my heart sink in my chest. Suzu, what's wrong?
It's nothing. Nothing.
Suzu quickly rubbed her eyes and face, trying to cover her face and clean it off sadness. I pressed my lips together, not believing her. Suzu, talk to me. Sorry, you were acting strange in history.
I was just listening to the lecture.
You were scribbling in your notebook. I was watching almost the entire class period.
Bad handwriting.
That was true, but she wouldn't write notes about class. She didn't care much for class, unlike Naomi and me. Was she lying to me? What was going on? What was making her so distraught? Suzu, whatever's troubling you, let me help you.
You can't help me, okay?
I stepped back, feeling the sudden anger in her voice. She covered her mouth, regretting what came out of it, and stared almost in pure fright at me. Suzu? I stepped towards her, not wanting to scare her, but wanting to be closer. Suzu didn't seem affected, so I continued to walk towards her. Eventually, we were only a desk away from each other. Tell me. Suzu stared before letting out a shuddering sigh, nodding in defeat. I slowly took a seat in the desk in front of me, watching as she moved to stand in front of it.
I've been having some issues, okay?
Issues? What about?
I'm supposed to help out the casino after graduation.
Yes, so? Isn't that good? It's a job, so we'll pay.
Yeah, pay. And blood money.
What do you mean? Is something going on with the casino?
Yeah, I get the pleasure of being a true Italian.
Oh! What do you mean?
Well,
we already know.
Dad's always wanted to own a casino, but my dad's an immigrant and whatever, so language barriers kept him from doing that. Luckily, my mom's pure Chicagoan, and so she knows English. When they opened up the casino together, I thought it'd be a great experience.
But it wasn't, was it?
A couple of suits showed up to our house last night. Mafia suits. They claimed that we were under protection as part of the Capone family.
Okay. No way. Suzu.
Look, I knew my family was a little messed up, but to be related to Capone was beyond crazy. My mother swore up and down that she had no relation to them, but apparently, through a marriage and a couple contracts, we're technically part of the family. Even if it isn't true, they made my folks sign out a protection license.
And? It was crazy. Al Capone was a Chicago mobster Robin Hood, but knew how to keep a family together. I never knew Suzu's family was so involved. With Suzu so protective of her family, it's no wonder she was upset. She preached so often that her family wasn't involved in things like that. Even Naomi defended her. I had to stop. This wasn't helping Suzu. I needed to help her feel better beyond anything else. So what happens to you?
Nothing. We pay a part of our profit to the family, and we're protected. Protected my ass. It's bribe money to make sure we don't lose business or get bombed.
Suzu stared down at the desk between us, her hands tightening into fists.
This is bullshit. I was gonna be normal, I was gonna be happy, I was gonna finally be normal enough to ask you out!
Hey, girl! Damn! I felt like I was dreaming. What? She wanted to ask me out? Huh? When? How? Suzu covered her mouth and stared up at me, as if she had slapped me and regretted moving her hand. I stared lost in my own thoughts. Suzu pounded the desk with her fists again.
Fuck! This is great! Just great! Just turn around.
I stood and turned around, obeying her. Losing my own train of thought, I needed to do anything I could to help her subconsciously. I could hear Suzu grumbling to herself.
This is stupid! Stupid! Need to stop. You might as well go. I mean, this is...
Suzu groaned. I could feel her mixed emotions radiate onto my back. I felt myself step forward, away from Suzu in reaction. Quickly, though, Suzu grabbed hold of my wrist. I froze, breaking from my own thoughts.
I like you. I really do, okay?
I felt my heart flutter in flattery. Flutter in flattery? Cool. Suzu, one of my best friends, liked me. I wasn't sure what to say. Suzu's grip on my waist tightened, pulling me slightly. I wanted to turn and hug her, but right now, she needed to let her emotions out.
I like you, but I don't want to ask you out like this. I don't want people to think you're affiliated with the Mafia kid. This whole situation is just messed up and...
I felt my heart drop. She cared about me and wanted to protect me from her reputation. I was flattered, but at the same time I was angry. She was my best friend and she liked me enough to confess her feelings to me despite her situation. What could I say to her though? This was a huge deal for both her and me. She had been one of my best friends for the majority of my life, and here she was, confessing to having a crush on me. It was surreal, yet it made me feel both strange and fluffy. Fucking fluff words. Suzu sighed and let go of my vest. I turned around to see her run her fingers through her hair.
Look, I'm sorry. I guess I needed to vent. I feel better now.
I couldn't help but stare at Suzu longer. Was she not expecting me to say anything in return? A sentence bubbled in my stomach, forcing itself out of my mouth without filter. Yes! I did not know what came over me. I let it spill out. I liked her though. I liked her a lot. She was badass and cute in her own special way. I love that she was an individual and stayed true to herself no matter what Naomi or I did. Sure, she was a little aggressive, but that added to the charm. Suzu stared wide-eyed at me, blushing as red as could be. I was positive that if she blushed anymore, she would faint from all the blood rushing into her cheeks to color them that red.
Did you just...
Yeah, I did. I stepped forward and gently took Suzu's hand. I needed her to know how I felt. She poured her feelings out for me. It was more than fair to share mine with her. I really like you too. You're adorable and I love that about you. You're caring and fun, and you have this sort of charm. Suzu, will you go out with me? Suzu was completely red in the front, but her eyes started to water. Rogue tears dripped from the edges of her eyes as she almost glared at me.
But what about...
I don't care. We'll deal with it as it comes, but for now, I want to be with you. Truly. Suzu stared before rushing at me and hugging me tightly, burying her face in my chest. I held her tightly, wanting to comfort her. I felt a small part of my heart fill with pure joy. I felt happy, like nothing was gonna stand in our way. Months went by since Suzu's confession. We were happy and eventually graduation came along. The rest of the story could almost be passed over. I graduated from school as one of the top 10 students of my class. My family was proud, even my dad. Maybe it was because I did my best in school. Maybe it was because I was finally a woman in his eyes. Suzu, my girlfriend, went to work at the casino right after school, learning both security and machine design. I guess her love for video games drew her interest into slot machines. Soon, she was able to fix broken or hacked machines within mere moments. As for her family, they weren't afraid of the protection they had, but they were cautious with every business meeting they held with bank bigwigs. Suzu would often drag me to the arcade to blow off some steam if something went wrong. But what of my future? Well, with Suzu's support, I finally decided to stand up for myself. After I graduated, Andrew and I presented our cases, and the board decided to have Andrew step into the CEO position of the Anderson Toys Company. My father was beyond shocked. I congratulated Andrew and went to the University of Chicago to get a degree while Andrew dedicated himself full-time to the company. Andrew vowed to respect the wishes of the late CEO and helped the company become an even grander company. Andrew had a large amount of heart, so it was easily accomplished. My grandfather would have been proud to see how Andrew helped it shine. With the CEO position filled, my father had no choice but to let me decide my future, which made me happy beyond compare. No longer would I have the future scaring me into a corner. I could choose my life on my own. That being said, I was still scared of where the future was going to take me. What did I want to do? Did I want to help Andrew build a company? Did I want to venture off on my own? Suzu reassured me that she would support me and help me through. Whatever I decided to do, I was grateful and I would never forget that promise. I was happy, and nothing could shake me down from that happiness. One morning, I woke up and took in all that had happened as if it were all a dream. My life seemed to fall perfectly into place. It was almost surreal.
Is everything as you wanted, sweetie?
Hey, Diana! I sharply turned my head to see a woman dressed in a gold and black gown staring at me with unnatural red eyes. For some reason, I felt as if she was familiar. I just couldn't place my finger on it. Hey, Diana. She twirled around in a small She twirled around a small purple pencil, smiling to me with a happy look. I, however, wasn't happy to have a sudden intruder. Who are you?
There's no need to worry about who I am. I just wanted to make sure you got what you desired. I didn't want to just leave you empty-handed.
What I desired? This was making no sense, yet in my heart, I felt like it did. Something about her was making my heart both elated and angry, but I couldn't pin down why. How did she even appear in my room in the first place? Wherever you are, you need to leave. I will not hesitate to call the police.
Oh, I'm leaving, all right. I just wanted a small pick-me-up. Chasing down boys and bringing them home was a hard job and took a lot out of me.
Alright. I felt suddenly weak staring at the woman. I felt warm and fuzzy inside my body, and I wanted the woman to cure me. Oh my, why was I feeling like
Would
this?
you mind if I steal a little kiss for the road? It'll be a long trek to where I'm going, and I need to make sure I have the energy to get there. It's only fair since I helped you get your little happy ending, no?
Yeah. I felt myself nod. What was I doing? The woman smiled before walking over, leaning over me, and kissing my cheek. I felt waves of energy deplete from my body through my cheek. I felt elated and confused, but I almost moaned at the feel of the kiss. After a small moment, the woman finally stepped away with a lick of her lips. She rubbed a finger over her lips as she stepped away from me. I couldn't help but stare blankly at her in surprise and confusion.
Lovely. Now, this is the last time you'll see me. I hope you and your little Suzu have a wonderful life together.
Hopefully, yeah. The woman placed the purple pencil into the cleavage of her dress and began to leave the room. I was too stunned to move, but I watched as the woman opened my balcony window, floated up, and dropped from the balcony. Oh my, that was a good like.
And thus, my price is paid.
And thus my price is paid? I heard her voice echo in my mind before I heard the snapping of a pencil, breaking my thoughts. What was I thinking about? Oh yes, my life. I let my mind wander to my future before my phone started ringing. I instantly picked it up. Hello?
Hey, can I come over?
Yeah, sure, what's wrong?
I just need to see you, okay?
Okay, I'll see you in a bit. I grew worried. What was wrong? Did something happen? My mind began to sort through possibilities that could have occurred with Suzu. Soon enough, I heard Suzu's motorcycle pull up to the gate. I rushed to the front doors and opened them to see Suzu looking at me with seriously distressed eyes.
Tell me you love me.
What, Suzu? What's...
Just tell me.
Alright, I love you, okay?
You love me?
I love you a lot, okay? Now what's... Before I knew it, Suzu rushed to me and held me tightly. I gasped, but wrapped my arms around Suzu, trying to comfort her despite my confusion. She obviously needed some love right now. I would get my answers when she was okay.
I love you too. I never felt like this with anyone.
Shh, it's okay, Suzu. It's okay. I held her close, petting her head gently. When Suzu relaxed in my arms, she looked up at me, tears in her eyes.
My parents want you to come over for dinner.
Oh! Wait, what?
My parents want to meet you as my girlfriend. They were shocked when they found out you and I were together, and it's really embarrassing, and I don't want you to feel pressured, but they're serious. And now that they're connected with the mob, then...
Suzu, shh. I placed a finger over her lips, making her stare up at me in surprise. I would love to have dinner with your folks as your girlfriend. I'd do anything for you. Oh, yay! Suzu smiled wildly up at me, more tears falling down her cheeks. She wrapped her arms up under my arms and kissed me lovingly, surprising me. As soon as she did though, she pulled away.
I didn't mean to.
It's okay. Feeling bold, I grabbed her hand and pulled her back at me, wrapping my arms around her, kissing her with the same amount of love she gave me. She was shocked, but as I felt her relax in my arms, she kissed me back. I didn't want to wake up if this was indeed a dream. I felt light as a feather, not wanting to ever let go of this woman in my arms. There were no words that could describe the emotions within me. I felt joy, happiness, ecstatic, high, all at once. Here I was, holding the woman I wanted to be with like nothing else mattered. I vowed to cherish her and love her for the remainder of my days and beyond. And that was my happily ever after. And Suzu's love. Yeah, guys! That was 50 minutes! And I got all the answers that I wanted, and also we got the beautiful ending scene. It was awesome. It was just beautiful. Now to answer the super awesome magic stuff. Oh, the ending song is the same, by the way. Also, does Diana sing this? It sounds like her. Yeah. So, hope you guys enjoyed. If you indeed did, do not forget to drop a like on this 50-minute mid video. This is gonna be a single part, I think. So, this is a big surprise for you guys. I will be doing these videos maybe like this or maybe in parts. I don't know. So, hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you around. Bye.
Let your fingers touch the sky. Your journey's far from over. There's a million stories left to write. Be free to explore the life you seek, to embrace the love you carry. Know the choices that you made were right. Take over your life. Soon you will see that you are free. Take the future in your hands now. It's in your sight. Go on, there's no better time to start. Your path is clearer now, urging you on. Don't be afraid, all the fear inside will fade. The trials that you face will make you strong. Fly high, feel the wind blow as you fly. Your journey's not yet over. There's 100 battles left to fight. Be free to be who you want to be. Love, you have just one life only. Know the choices that you make are right. Touch the sky, your journey's far.